Today, I'm going to be evaluating the video game Counter-Strike Global Offensive, and more specifically its success in the competitive game community. To give a little background, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, or CSGO as I will be referring to it for the rest of the video, is a first-person shooter, or FPS, that has taken off in popularity since it hit the market in 2012. What distinguishes it from other first-person shooters is the competitive community that is formed around it. I will attempt to explain this phenomenon by thoroughly evaluating CSGO under the criteria of a successful competitive video game. These criteria include spectatorship, accessibility, aesthetic desirability, global appeal and popularity, and most importantly, consistency and balance. Let's start with spectatorship. This is rather simple. If people can't easily watch the game, then it's going to hinder its success. CSGO is fully equipped with a spectator client in which directors can control different camera angles to focus on what is currently important and what should be discussed by the commentators. Other key information is displayed on the screen as well, such as the current score of each team, time left in the round, and a mini-map of all the players. To delve a little deeper though, a less obvious game component that is important for success is pacing. Nobody is going to want to watch something that is slow, monotonous, and repetitive, but on the other end of the spectrum, something that is constantly overflowing with action can also be bothersome to watch. The balance that CSGO finds is near perfect. There are slow moments of extreme tension building up to explosive and exciting action, keeping the viewer on the edge of his or her seat at all times. Lastly, commentators need to be entertaining. Just like most other events, there are two commentators. There's a play-by-play and a color commentator. One focuses on the current details of the game, while the other adds insightful information that is not as obvious and keeps the broadcast from becoming boring. Moving on, let's talk about accessibility. For any game to be popular, it needs to be easily accessible. This means a couple things: the physical requirements to play the game and the complexity of the game. CSGO costs $15 and is played on a computer, Mac and PC. This is crucial because the game is cheap and almost everybody has a computer. Complexity-wise, if something is extremely complicated, the average gamer is not going to go out of his way to dedicate the time towards learning how to play when there are so many other options. This may sound easy to accomplish, but there is a catch. If a game is overly simplified, then it will have no competitive appeal at all. There has to be a lot of room to grow as a player, otherwise known as a high skill ceiling, with many people saying it takes upwards of 10,000 hours to become an expert. In this regard, CSGO finds a great equilibrium of complexity and accessibility. Taking just a couple hours to gain a decent understanding, CSGO is still packed with enough content and strategy to keep players interested for thousands of hours. This is important for the viewer too. Almost all spectators of video games are going to be players themselves. Just like in sports, there is the appeal of watching professionals simply because they are far better than the average person. When they perform amazing feats that the rest of us can't hope to match, it's inspiring. This distinction is essential because without a community of average players, there will never be enough spectators to support a competitive scene. Next up, we have aesthetic desirability. Probably the least important of these criteria, but nonetheless is still vital for success. The game has to be vibrant and visually clear to the viewer, otherwise it will be difficult to follow. Beyond that, not much more is required. Competitive games tend not to be on the cutting edge of graphics. They focus more on running smoothly than looking pretty. CSGO accomplishes this in stride, running effortlessly even on your average household computer. There's a ton of history to this game, but I'm going to try and keep it short. CSGO is a sequel in a series of Counter-Strike games that have been growing in popularity since 1999. Counter-Strike has been extremely popular in Europe since the beginning, but since then it has spread worldwide to the Americas and Australia. 27 million people watched the last major tournament in Cologne, Germany. More people watched that tournament than last year's World Series and NBA Finals. As far as people who play the game, there are roughly 6 million people who play on a monthly basis, with around 800,000 playing at any given time. That is 8 times more players than just a year ago. CSGO has rapidly become a cornerstone for every gamer interested in the competitive experience. And finally, we have consistency and balance. Unlike sports, video games are always evolving and have to be balanced to accommodate these changes. The developers of CSGO regularly make balance changes to keep up with the constantly changing tendencies of players and teams, known as the metagame. What makes CSGO so appealing to professional players is how consistently the better team will come out on top. Unlike other FPSs, Counter-Strike leaves the player in complete control of the outcome. I can speak from personal experience that no random, uncontrollable event is going to cause a weaker team to beat a stronger team. If you win in this game, it's because you planned, strategized, and executed better than your opponent. Upsets are only caused by the natural hot and cold streaks of teams, and that is exactly what makes it so interesting for the spectator. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my evaluation of Counter-Strike Global Offensive.